hope all those who have not known Swami Chidananji or met him would have some idea about him as well. And now I would like to invite Don Bridle to come and speak about his experiences with Swami Chidananji. And Don Bridle and Mo Bridle, they came to Rishikesh in 1970s, first time as young people, and stayed for a long time in the ashram to study with Swami Chidananji. And ever since they have been visiting India very often. And Swami Chidananji was very fond of them, often stayed with them. And the way I know them is not through them directly, but through their children, because they have two beautiful children, Matthew and Christiana, and they were often spoken about by Swami Chidananji, and I came to know about them, and they are like family, and I'm so happy that they are here. And Don is an artist, he's a sculptor. His sculptures are installed in the White House and various other places. Continues to run an art company. And I would like to invite him and request him to speak about his time with Swami Chidananji. Don Bridle, please.
Good afternoon. It's nice to be with everyone here.
Thanks. See you later.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you twist it up to you?
Swamiji came into my life through the agency of my wife, who found him first. And it proved to be at a critical time to meet him because I had just graduated from college and felt on arriving home that something very important was missing. Then I joined the Peace Corps, and my wife, before we were married, sent me 2 books while I was down in Ecuador. The autobiography of the yogi and the Bhagavad Gita. And I read those books and thought, that's what I'm missing. So from then on, we joined up and headed east and arrived in India in 1970. We had met previously in Canada for a summer. What impressed me and what I felt was missing was the whole metaphysical underpinnings that life needs, and somehow I had missed it. And Swamiji, in the most loving and caring ways, reintroduced me to this spiritual underpinning that makes life worth living. And he did it in such a way that it could be a part of my everyday life. It wasn't just, okay, now I'm going to go meditate and be spiritual for a little while. Watching him, it was a complete 24-hour exercise in developing one's consciousness. And one of the first interviews I had with him when I got to the ashram, him knowing what was going to be coming as one developed and proceeded in the spiritual path, was that you're going to encounter a lot of things that are perhaps disturbing, that are not within your normal frame of reference, so you don't know how to deal with these things. And he said the most important thing, and the first thing you must do is develop detachment. With detachment, you can face anything. There are no difficulties that can't be overcome if detachment is there. But without detachment, you get embroiled and enmeshed and locked into the dynamics of whatever that situation is, and you don't gain the proper perspective. And that proved to be a wonderful early instruction to have and useful throughout my life. Swamiji, when you first get into yoga, you think there's all these wonderful experiences quite a ride. You find out that where it's really at is not at the peak of one's art through time, but it's at those low points that you need to survive. And you need spirituality at those points to pull you through. And so the teachings of Swamiji was always towards, let's work on the low points. Let's work on the stuff that's really dragging you down, and keeping you bound and unfree and locked into duality. The spiritual teachings of Swamiji allowed one to break free of these limitations. And that, to me, is the importance and glory that India has kept alive all these years. And I am so appreciative that India has, through it all, maintained this elegant and beautiful sense of what life is about, and is now sharing it with the rest of the world. Swamiji went all over the world bringing this message, and it was received, and this is where our society, this world, needs to go. We've got to get out of this low-level consciousness, and we need the tools to do it with, and these tools is what I found yoga to offer, very practical tools to use in all of its different manifestations and ramifications. Swamiji just was the most incredible example of how to transcend the limitations that we are all more or less born with, unless we're really lucky. And maybe I should ask how long I should be speaking. Could someone signal me when it's time to break up? There was